Now we shall work probability associated with Poisson random variable. Poisson random variable follows a probability mass function e raised to negative lambda, lambda raised to x upon x factorial. So let's try and write this function in R. So I define a function prob poise is a function which requires value of x and value of lambda. Okay, now let's start writing the function. The first is e raised to negative lambda. So I create an object prob. E raised to negative lambda is exp negative lambda. LAMBDA, lambda is what we have, into e raised to negative lambda, lambda raised to x. So next is lambda raised to x raised to x divided by factorial of x factorial, right? So this is my function, and then return prob, right? And if I run this, it is run successfully. So it is prob poise. I need to specify x. X takes a value, say 5, and lambda, that is the average, is 1.5. Run it, I get this value 0 0.014119996. In R you have existing function which is d poise, in which you can write x, that is 5, and lambda, that is 1.5, and run this, you get the same output. So you can very easily write a function in R and run that function and get the results that you're interested in, right? Understand how the flow control works. So we should try and write a if loop. Typically if loop is written as if a condition, if the condition is satisfied, what will happen is specified here. Then else, then what do you do if the condition is not satisfied? Okay, so suppose somebody enters the wrong value of x, say something like negative value, okay, which is not permissible in Poisson distribution. Poisson works if x takes a value of 0 or more than 0. So I write a function. If somebody is writing a value of x which is negative, then I should perhaps warn them. And so I'm writing a flow control line. If x is smaller than 0, then this is the condition I've specified. So then what do you do? You then print the x is smaller than 0. Please check the data. Okay. Otherwise, if x is not smaller than 0, if it is 0 or greater than 0, else this particular prod thing will run. That is, will compute the probability associated with this particular random variable, the Poisson random variable, and it would be returned, right? So I am now running this. Okay, now I've written a value of x which was earlier 5, so we write that value. Yeah, we are getting the probability that we are interested in. Suppose we write -1 and run this particular line. We got the response that x is smaller than 0. Please check the data. And that's what the flow control is doing, if else is doing for us. If x is not smaller than 0, then this particular part will not run. If x is not smaller than 0, this part will not run, and then it will go to else, and this part will run. If x is smaller than 0, this line would be printed, and then the function would end, because this else will not run, right? And so this is how we control flow in R and get the outputs that we are interested in. So suppose in dpoise I write -5, then I get 0 because there's no such condition specified in dpoise function.